Hi, I'm Dr. Tilawen, and this is a special series on how to recover from the trauma of mass shootings. Typically, this is a relationships and mental health channel, but this is a special series what we're doing. We'll look at everything from trauma itself all the way to forgiveness. So we'll look at, in the first place, we'll start off with the overview of the trauma itself. Then we'll go to the second part of it, which is the symptoms, where people are asking, what is happening to me? The third will be about the ways to recover from some of these traumatic events that you've experienced since being a victim of mass shootings. And then the fourth will be about working on grief related to this, because you cannot move forward to the forgiveness part of that until you actually forgive, because the emotions are still really exaggerated. And then the fifth and the last section will be about forgiveness. Now, that will be the most challenging out of all these series. The most challenging one will be about forgiveness, because some of you still have a lot of these emotions that are still really high and exaggerated right now. But it is possible, because I've been there, and we will be talking more about it. So mass shootings have been with us for a very long time. It started really in 1966. But more specifically, since 1980, there have been at least one mass shooting or more. Most mass shooters are men, except there has been maybe only about 3 women who have committed mass shootings. The guns that they use are typically purchased legally. Most people tend to think that mass shootings are committed only, using illegal guns. No, a lot of these guns, majority of them, were purchased legally. And these men are around in their late teens, 20s to about 50. Mass shooting has gained notoriety because it's so random. It cuts through every economic, religion, ethnicity, and it's so random. You can be anywhere and be victim of mass shooting. It's not like gun violence. Gun violence, sometimes you know certain places that are dangerous. You know situations that you may be a victim of gun violence. But you always hear people like, oh, this was not supposed to happen here. This is a peaceful place. We love each other. We always support each other. And we never thought one of us would be one of those mass shooters. Yes, that is what makes mass shooting so random and so dangerous, because it can happen to, anywhere. When it's happening to you, actually, believe it or not, mass shooting only account for less than 2% of gun violence. But when it's happening to you, you feel like it's 150%, 200% of gun violence, because it's so drastic and it's so random that it becomes a big deal to you when it happens, because it's for the first time. Most people who live in some of those very safe neighborhoods, it's the worst thing that ever happened. Most mass shooters die at the scene of the crime. A majority of them commit suicide or are killed by law enforcement. Very few are ever captured. The only, maybe 2 that were ever, captured is really the Aurora, Colorado, and the one in Parkland, Florida, that were captured. Otherwise, most of them either die or commit suicide, which we'll talk about that later, which means it now, like how you fight, it changes, because if you know that this person is coming here to die, no amount of pleading, no amount of begging for mercy is going to make any difference. So you either run, hide, or fight like hell. And so that is just a quick synopsis of what you're dealing with when you're talking about a mass shooter, out there. So for some of you who have been a victim of mass shooting, my condolences to you if you have lost a family member, a friend, a neighbor, a fellow student, a teacher, a coach, anybody that you consider close to you, somebody you know, and even people that you do not know, people that make up your community that have died. My condolences to you. For those who are now dealing with injuries, who have been wounded, who have been maimed, who have been, whose life has been altered because of injuries and being shot, I wish you quick recovery and empowerment after you come out of this, to be able to move on with your life. I am here to tell you that recovery is possible, and that you can reach even to the level of forgiveness. I know this because I've been through this kind of shooting before. 5 years ago, my younger brother was a victim of a gunman who had AK-47. He went to the bank. Unbeknown to him, there was a gunman that was on the rampage in the parking lot. So when he got out of his car, he was getting out of his car, he was shot 11 times by a gunman with an AK-47. And he died on the spot. He never made it out of the parking lot. And when it's all said and done, 4 other people were dead. Now, that was the most traumatic thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. And it was very devastating. It was the most devastating thing to ever happen to me, because seeing my youngest brother being shot with an AK-47 was very, very devastating. I'll never forget that. Looking at his body in the morgue. I have made a lot of recovery now that back then I could never finish talking about him without breaking down. But I'm here to tell you today that I've been able to walk through this, and I know you can do it. Please don't give up, and I'm here for you. Consider this to be my gift to you, because I cannot be there with you right now where you're suffering after this mass shooting. But know that I'm with you, and consider this to be my contribution to the healing process of what you're going through right now. And I hope that you can heal from this, because I know I've worked on this. I've even worked on forgiveness, which was not the easiest thing. It's time now to go to the next section, the second part of this, which is about the symptoms of this traumatic event that you have just experienced or you have experienced in the past. So if you like this video, please consider subscribing and also liking it. Please also share this video with others that you know who have been affected by mass shootings in your area or anywhere else that you know, and just forward this video. This has been a Dr. Tilawen presentation, wishing you the blessings of today and possibilities of tomorrow, full of healing and empowerment.